we should probably start off by saying I'm from Sacramento and he's from the Bay.
Okay.
And that's why we're qualified to talk on this subject. You know what I'm saying?
All right, yeah, fair enough. Disclaimer.
All right, come on. What's the question?
All right, is Sacramento part of the Bay Area?
Geographically, no. Culturally, yes.
Okay, explain that.
So I would think the Bay ends Vallejo.
No, but keep going.
Fairfield likes to claim they're the Bay.
Fairfield is technically the last part that touches the water.
Do they touch the water?
I believe so. There's a little section I can't recall at the top of my head.
So you're claiming Fairfield as the Bay?
I'm accepting Fairfield into the
All right,
Bay
I respect that. I respect that. Sacramento's too far to claim the Bay. Culturally, though, I feel like we share the same style, music, fashion, slang, food. It's pretty much the same. I like to compare Sacramento and the Bay as like
food
cousins. Yeah, the food.
Where can you get a decent burrito in Sacramento?
Oh, there's spots. Don't disrespect Sac like that.
Tacos?
There's spots.
Okay, yes.
There's spots.
Burritos?
But you guys kind of invented the Mission Burrito
That's
here, right? So it's
that's
like,
exactly
okay,
my point.
That's your guys' claim to fame. Y'all love claiming y'all made
San Jose,
burritos,
you
bro.
can get a good burrito. Oakland, you can for sure get a good burrito. Frisco is the home of the burrito.
All right, clearly it's not up to par as San Francisco. We don't have Michelin star restaurants like that. You know, the food might be a little off.
There's a good brunch scene.
But I'm just saying, like, compared to, you know, like East Coast, the food isn't too far off in terms of types of people, cultures. We can get Asian food, Mexican food, Italian food, American food. It's kind of overlapping. But musically, I think Sacramento has the Bay, like the Bay playerness, but also we have the LA like streetness. Because I think they kind of, like growing up, there's like colors and actual gangs. And from my understanding of the Bay Area, it's not like that.
No.
So what would you say? Do you feel like Sacramento is a part of the Bay?
No, it's not. I don't think the culture is the same. The culture is different.
Bro, you had a lot of people from the Bay migrate to Sacramento.
Just bear with me now. Bear with me. You're right, yes. But Sac is a way slower pace of life than the Bay Area.
I mean, you could say that about Antioch.
Yes, you could.
Is that a part of the Bay?
Yes, but that's geographical. You said culturally.
Culturally?
Culturally.
You think it's slow? It's slow, but how is it slow? How is it slower? Culturally.
There's less, historically, there's been way less to do. There's been way less activity.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, it's
slower. It's a little country out there.
It's not that country. It was country back when you were growing up.
That's my context.
All right, so do you feel like Sacramento ever had more of like the ball in our court when it comes to the music?
Yeah, Sacramento has to be absolutely 1,000% respected and saluted for the music. One big thing that people claim, Sacramento people claim the fame over there, and I see this all the time, is Sacramento people love to take credit for this. They love to take credit because Dre lived in Sacramento and he signed something terrible. And apparently, I wasn't around to verify it, but a lot of the slang and dances and certain things came from that group, Something Terrible. Not all of it, but a lot, and Sacramento people love to claim that.
Well, I interviewed Lav, and he said the term "go stupid" was based on a person named Stupid Swoop, I think his name was, and they would be like, "Go stupid." It's like saying like, "Go Trev," "Go Dregs."
Yeah, I mean that could be possible. I always felt like stupid is like damn near hip hop slang overall. Like it's stupid fresh. That's like old school hip hop too, like back in the day status.
But it's, okay, stupid fresh and going stupid are two different stupids.
Okay, could be. I don't know. I'm not. See, this is going beyond my level of to be able to verify all this.
But do you feel like Sacramento initially had that respect, or when did we earn it?
I think it had the respect from the start because, see, you don't even know this about your own city, but SIBO is very important for Northern California because Sibo was working with Mike Mosley, who was from Fairfield, and producing E40. So the same person that was producing what you could claim the hottest artist in the Bay, E40 and the Click, was also producing the hottest artist in Sac at the time, around the same time.
And what was this? What was the time?
Like 90, I think Gas Chamber came out in 93. That's Sibo's debut album. And Sibo is also, if you listen to that album, I'm going to send it to you after this so you can learn. He shouts out everywhere. Sibo was campaigning everywhere with that album. He shouts out Army Street Projects in Frisco on that album. He shouts out Fairfield. He shouts out Vallejo. He was campaigning on the independent. AWOL Records was on a sick one. So it's really around the same time that the Bay Area was popping off, Sibo was popping off, and with that also comes Brother Lynch and X-Rated and all them brothers that put Sac on the map around the same time, 92, 93.
So you gave Sacramento its respect in the 90s.
No, to this day, for sure. To this day, Mozzy, Lavish D.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I feel like we earned it when like the Mozzy movement was on fire, because I feel like up until then we were like kind of looked down upon. You know, like, oh, you guys want to claim the Bay, like, oh, you're from the Bay, you know what I'm saying? Which I've never met a Sacramento person claim I'm from the Bay. I just want to set that straight.
Hey, Sacramento people have a chip on their shoulder about this. I see it in my comments all the time, bro.
It's just a thing. I don't understand. It's like we're not the Bay, like, but
it's not the Bay. It's not the Bay. It's Northern California. That's the thing. When you say it's damn near the Bay. Let me see if you agree with this. The Bay Area does set the trends for Northern California.
You guys have set a lot of trends. I would say you probably have set more trends. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any examples of Sacramento starting trends, but I'll give you that one.
Influence. There's influence. There's some reputable, notable people.
Okay, what are we talking about in terms of trends, though? Like slang?
Everything. It's a major metropolitan area, man. San Francisco, Oakland, these are international cities. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect, but ain't nobody in fucking Paris, France being like, I'm going to visit Sacramento for my vacation.
That's valid.
They're going to come to San Francisco. They're going to ride the cable car. You know what I mean? People in Sacramento is going to come to San Francisco, go to a Giants game, go to a Niner game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, because this place is so beautiful.
There you go. That's setting the tone. I bet even historically, this is where they were settling in.
But they came here for gold.
There you go. This is where the gold was. And then the gold took them up the Sacramento River, and they was doing it up there too. But this has always been the primary area of Northern California, and it's to this day. And I don't take nothing away from Sac, but this is just the dominant part of the region.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not,
It's going to take a lot. Sac could become the new hotspot, and like you said, a hell of people is moving.
I don't think it will ever become.
I lived there for a hot second.
But people migrated because it was cheaper. People are getting bought out of their homes. They can't afford the Bay.
That's how these things, that's how we got Black folks out here in the first place. They were coming out here for an economic opportunity. You know what I mean? To the Bay Area. And then from there it goes up to Sac and then Stockton. And now you probably damn near got more people from Frisco in Sacramento than you do in Frisco.
That might be actually a real thing.
So that's what I'm saying. So eventually those people have kids, they grow up there, and the influence spreads around.
Okay, but in less of a broad term, right? Let's focus on the music and like the hip hop aspect of the relationship between Sacramento and the Bay Area.
Okay.
Do you think, like, of course, Sacramento is never going to be as big as San Francisco or the Bay Area. In terms of tourists, no one's going to, like you said, no one's going to want to go to Sac to see the fucking capital. Like, this is not a thing. But in terms of music influence, do you feel like Sacramento has had a decent amount of influence in these last 10 years?
I'm gonna go full supervillain. I'm about to fuck you up.
Let me hear it.
Sacramento has been on fire the last 10 years. But do you know why? Because of Messy fucking Marv. Because Messy Marv influenced the hottest rappers in Sacramento. If you want to say Lavish D and Mozzy, and they will both say this on the record, and you can just hear it, their style is a direct influence of 2000s Mess.
So that's where it originated.
Mess probably has more fans in Sacramento right now to this day than he does.
Well, that's all the people that moved from the Bay.
I think it's Sac. I think it's Sac cast. When I be out moving and talking to him, I actually think, for whatever reason, that's one of those areas where it took off more than any other Bay Area rapper.
Mm.
So
you would have credit Messy Marv to the impact of Sac culture. Yeah,
a little bit. I'm trolling.
No, but dive deep on that take.
I think if you really want to go through, if you look at if you talking Mozzy and CML, and then you take Messy Marv out of the equation, I mean, where did they get it from?
It's one thing to get it from somewhere, but who has it? Who has it now?
Who has it now is
currently in the state of in 2025.
Those two brothers for sure.
No, not even them specifically, but Sac or the Bay.
Oh, where's more lit? Still the Bay.
Not lit. Or I mean, define lit.
Well, what are you asking? Who has it? Who has the
in
torch
terms of like not really the torch? That's what I'm saying. When we're very similar culturally, where it's like the beat selection, the sounds are very similar. I would say the drill movement in Chirac influenced a lot on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And, around those times, like the murder music, like real gangster rap shit kind of set the city on fire. So my question is like, currently, do you think Sacramento is hotter or the Bay is hotter? Like current artists, not artists who have been hot or bigger. I would still, I think NorCal in general is a little bit stale.
Yeah, I
think Stockton really has it if we're talking about that.
I don't think it's Sac or the Bay. I think it's Stockton.
And they fought hard for that respect.
Yeah, they did. And Stockton has that. They're influenced by both Sac and the Bay. And that's when that's why at the end of the day, like, I'm fucking with you and trolling, but like Northern California, there's Bay Area shit, there's Stockton shit, there's Sac shit, but when you put it all together, that Northern California thing is its own thing, and all of these regions are equally influential. Okay,
so who do you think you could accredit to influence this generation in terms of sound and beat selection? Because I know who I'm gonna take.
Are you talking about like in the last 5 years or
Yeah. Like, but you don't really listen to like new age NorCal music, do you?
Well, there's a lot of, I always say here and there, I always say there's a lot of SOBRBE out here in just about everybody.
That's valid. I personally think Yace influenced the whole sound. Because that's like, he's like early Draco sound. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And Draco influenced a lot on the West Coast.
Yeah. I remember Yace definitely had this. I can speak to the city. He had the city on fire with the youngsters when he was out doing his thing. Him and G Val doing the mixtapes together and shit.
Did he get a lot of hate?
Yace? Not that I saw. I mean,
I'm just talking maybe from like hip hop purists or whatever, because he definitely was coming through with
some. He wasn't on their radar. He wasn't on there. That's why my shit is different, because I actually tap in. I try to tap into just about everything. For most people my age, there's a certain point where they just stop. But
I hear Yace in the Stockton sound, in the Sac sound.
I think that's I think that's valid.
But it also comes down to the beat selection. Like, I feel like the West Coast is on fire right now with the whole Kendrick stuff. Do you hear Bay Bounce in, Kendrick's new project?
Yeah, and that's not no secret. I was just talking to someone today, actually, that it's like someone who's related to someone in the camp that, like, yes, he'll give it up. He'll straight up say that, which is dope.
Well, that's why I feel like he had the the Turfines, and the paying homage to
the Trunk Boys, bro.
Yeah.
That's a deep cut. That ain't no accident right there. But that's the thing. So that's when we bring it back to Sac and the Bay Area. I will 1000% say that the influence goes both ways. Because we was so heavy on SIBO and X-Rated and Looney Coleon and Hollow Tip and Brother Lynch Hung in the city that it for sure influenced people out here, for sure. And now, when we was just talking about who's like influential now, like there's hella Mozzy clones. There's hella Mozzy clones. Like I was trolling a little bit with the Mess influence, but both of them dudes, Lav and Mozzy, if you want to compare the two, they developed their own shit. But there is so many people, bar for bar, beat for beat. I'm like, bro, just start a Mozzy tribute band. You know what I'm saying? At that point,
but
like,
let me ask you this though: are they who they are without the beef?
Them two dudes?
Yeah, because I feel like Sac is known for the beef music, and so is Stockton now. It's like it's kind of a sad part of the music culture, or just like people consuming the music, is just like, if you're not really like catching bodies behind the music, then it's like we don't really want to hear it in a sense. Like the beef, like people are so like mesmerized by the actual stuff that goes on outside of the music, but is talked in the music, that kind of amplifies the whole wave, or like the spotlight.
Right. Yeah, that's a whole nother level of like people follow that shit. People are like watching that shit from the sidelines. That's why another thing I was gonna say is like Sac politics are way funkier than Bay Area politics in terms of the gang culture and the gang structure out there. And yeah, that bleeds into the music, no pun intended, a lot more.
Literally.
Yeah. But I feel like for sure, without beefing with each other, it's hard to say because so many people...
Very talented artists.
They're talented as fuck, but people will say that before Mozzy was where he is now, he got a bit of a spark by going after Lavish D, right? Controversy sells.
Well, I think the truth was like the diss song that
that's
like,
what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like he dropped a diss song that kind of set the city on fire.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to say.
Lav said that he never even knew. I don't know if that's true or not, but he said he didn't even know about him before that song dropped. So
I just think it set a precedent for the city on like, why we're gonna pay attention and why we're not.
Yeah.
It's like, but I also think the Chirac drill movement had influence on that even before, because that was a little bit like, or around the same time.
It was influenced by that, and that's the conversation I have with a lot of these dudes from the city, because in my generation, if you rap, like it's cool. It don't matter who you rap with, and also in my era, there was like certain bosses that's like, I can go to the other side. You know what I'm saying? Like this is me. I'm saluted. You know what I mean? And this generation now is not about that, and it's straight up like, let's use the music as a vehicle to fuel the beef. And I definitely feel like Sacramento, for better or worse, influenced that heavily.
Yeah, because I mean, like, when you were growing up, was the Bay, like the Bay? I heard it was spunky out here. It was
super funky.
It was sketchy, but it wasn't in the mute. Did it bleed into the music or?
Nah, there's no diss songs again, except for like if you want to talk about the Vallejo shit with Mac Dre and E40 back in the day.
But they were saying each other's names on songs or sending subliminals?
A little bit of both.
Because that's what I think really changed the game, was dropping the names in diss songs.
Yeah, that wasn't a thing.
No.
That wasn't a thing. And that's what I'm saying is like, I know if you look at RBL and JT the Bigger Figure, it was like Philma Hunter's Point squashed beef partially so those dudes could do music together, because everybody understood it's going to be a better look for the whole city.
Well, that's why I feel like the Bay, it has that player, let's get money attitude, you know?
Yeah, but that's just over now too, because some of those beefs are like 30 years old and so many people have died, and it's just, there's no turning back for some of these.
You don't see an end to it.
Nah, not after talking to some of these dudes and understanding their mentality. And then also thinking about it like, man, there's people I don't get along with that I don't want anything to do with, and it ain't even nothing as serious as that. So how could you expect them to come together when it's like, you know, someone they know killed someone the other dude
No,
knows,
I totally get it. You know, I would want vengeance if someone took someone that I loved.
Or just like, how can, even if you were like, I'm moved past it, but like, you know, that's a huge stain, you know?
Yeah, I feel like you do see a lot of older guys who grow up who are like kind of realize like, damn, the streets ain't really what it's, you know?
Man, yeah. Hopefully you grow up and learn that lesson. But to bring back what you said about Kendrick, this is also what I'm waiting for. I think Sacramento, the Bay, and Stockton could use a Kendrick type of rapper to come out and not be on some super square soft shit, but also like, man, I think people are waiting for someone who has more to talk about than drill shit.
Sliding on ops.
Yeah.
I think
people are tired of it.
I think we do have those artists. I just don't think, like I said, bro, people like drama, people like tension, people like feud. Or at least, you know, the internet does.
People like good music, I think, that will stand the test of time.
I mean, that's like one artist, like for me, when you say that, I think of Rex Life Raj.
That's a great example.
He's like one of the ones who's like a pure artist, I would think, who's got bars, who can sing. Yeah. He kind of he gives me a Kendrick vibe.
Yeah, that's a great example. Yeah.
So, I mean, and look at him. He's not the biggest out the Bay, but he's got a core fan base, and he's traveling the world, and you know, he's an artist. But in terms of like the Bay, NorCal, I don't know how many people like that, or maybe they're just not on my radar.
Well, then I want to see that specifically in Stockton and Sacramento, because I know there's some kid out there that's struggling. Like, fuck, I can't get people to listen to me because, you know,
I'm not beefing.
Yeah, or that's what he's thinking in his head. But really, someone like me, I want to hear it. You know.
Yeah, I would back that statement up too, because also I feel like I see a lot of new young artists who aren't really about that, but are rapping about that. Yeah. And it's just like,
that's a story as old as time itself, but I think it's even more so these dudes is confused and really thinking the lines between their music and reality is totally blurred, and they really think that's what's going to get them on. And we see it a lot of times. It's not going to get you on. It's going to get you hurt. It's going to get you fucked up. Or
really, sometimes it does get you on, but then it leads to you getting hurt.
Yeah,
It's like you get rewarded for the crash outs.
Yeah.
Especially with the internet and going viral.
Yeah.
What? I got to just pull up and do a video at the enemy's park or something, you know, like some little shit like that, where it's like, is it really gonna be beneficial for the long run?
Yeah, I mean, that's where like there's got to be accountability for some of these platforms and some of these people in position to highlight certain shit. There's certain, for me personally, and no disrespect to anybody who feels otherwise, but there's certain shit that like I don't want on my platform.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask you. Like, where do you draw the line between asking questions about conflict?
Sometimes I don't.
I'm kind of take that road too. It's like,
sometimes I just don't.
I live my life where I don't ever want to interview someone and have someone get hurt from what they said.
Exactly. Yeah.
But then sometimes I feel like I miss out on what people really want to know about. Not in like a predatory way.
Yeah.
But in just like a journalistic sense. Where it's like, okay, what do I, you know? And sometimes I feel like being ignorant to someone's situation is way better, because I could ask you shit that I genuinely don't know, that, you know, maybe it's a sore subject or, you know, a subject about some conflict, but I'm just asking you because I'm ignorant to it.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I mean, sometimes I gotta draw that line too, like, because I'm cool with the other person on the other side of this issue. So that's, to me, that's just how I always learn to keep it player. Like, you know, if you fuck with two people that's on different sides, like if I fuck with someone that's an op to you, I'm not gonna get around him and talk about Trevor like, oh, Trevor, nah, whoa, I don't want to hear that. I gotta shut that down. And then same thing when I'm around you, it's like, bro, let's not even, you keep that separate. And I think that's really important to be able to do as a journalist, if you are a podcast host. But I see people do messy shit. Well, they'll do the opposite.
It's just all messy shit.
They'll interview somebody that's funking with somebody else, and when somebody else comes on, they'll be like, did you hear what he said about you? To me, when I asked him about it? Like, that's messy.
I also feel like the streets have caught on nowadays, and they like know what, like, because that's an interesting topic, right? Where if you have an artist sitting down and they have some conflict, and you start off asking them, the interviewer could say, hey, they're not obligated to answer the question.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you always kind of have that out where it's like, look, it's my job to ask these questions. They don't have to answer if they want.
Yeah, I think that's another difference is like, and when I was younger, like it was more mafia. And when I say mafia, like you ask the actual Italian mafia, does the mafia exist, or like what's the mafia? Like that's the boss of the mafia family, but he'll never be like, yeah, I'm in the mafia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they just, hey, I sell olive oil. Oh, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And rappers don't really know how to do that nowadays.
Well, because it gives them clout. It gives them attention if they're, on some crash out shit. That's
the players part of it is where it's like, look, man, I'm dope because I'm dope. I'm not dope because that's the downfall of that. You take that shit away, and then what do you got? You know what I mean?
All you got is crash out. Or how do you follow up? You crash out again.
Exactly. So you got to be dope without it. You got to be dope without a chain. You got to be dope without the bad bra. You got to be dope without the Bentley. You know what I mean? You got to be dope without the cosign. And then when you're that dope, all those things, they can only add to what you already got going on.
Yeah, but that's the slow lane, man. That's gonna take too long.
Slow motion better than no motion, man.
I got sound effects. Oh, that was a gunshot. That's probably the wrong one.